Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter to those that celebrate, to those that do not. Happy morning. Good morning. Um, a thought came in my head from when we actually did do Easter when I was a kid. Um, I remember we would paint our eggs, and I think it was maybe 3 days before Easter. And then Easter, we would wake up and we'd do an Easter egg hunt. And we'd find our basket and we'd find the eggs and this and that and another thing and have our dinner and stuff. One candy I remember from Easter that I absolutely hated, but my mom thought I really loved. They had had little white nougat in it, but it had the same fruit in it that fruit cake has in it. Yuck. Anyway, I remember that. I remember never having to really fight over jelly beans with anybody because my favorite are the black licorice ones. Well, nope, nope. There was one person that would share those with me, and that's my dad. And my grandpa, thinking of jelly beans and kind of going off the path a little bit, like true Tressa style. My grandfather always had candy next to his chair. My dad actually kind of his dad did, and he does. So everybody would go over there, and there would be one pink, a green, maybe, and then a whole bunch of black jelly beans. And it may have been him that even left the black jelly beans because I don't recall if he liked it or not, but my dad does. So um there would always be the black ones, and me and my dad would be over there sneaking the black jelly beans together. Anyway, back on subject. I remember on Easter we would do our eggs. And then we would wake up and we would find, the Easter bunny left us our left us our can I please speak? The Easter bunny left us our baskets, and mom and dad had us count them before we set them out for the Easter bunny because they wanted to have a good count of how many might be left under the couch somewhere that that he hid really well. uh, or one of us caught it and rolled it under the couch or something like that after we found it. So anyway, I also remember for dinner that night when I was really young that all of a sudden we had egg salad for dinner that night. And it was purple and green and orange and red. And my dad always told me it was Easter bunny salad. Not that no, that the Easter bunny had made it, not the ingredients. And I always thought that was, now that I'm an adult, I think it's cute. And yeah, now that I'm an adult, I think it's cute. So I was just thinking of that memory, and I thought I'd hop on. I'd hop! Woo! Happy Easter! On and say good morning to you. And if you're celebrating alone, and we happen to have a video together, sit down and have a cup of coffee with me. As a matter of fact, I'm about to have a drink of coffee. Woohoo! That never takes a break. Except for this one's like half, it's warm. Recently, I've been really liking like the hot, not like too hot, but like the bearable hot. But that lukewarm and that cold is kind of, no thank you. And I'm really not it's that time of year when I start winding down on drinking coffee. I also start winding down on dairy products and things like that because it starts to irritate my tummy when um when I have milk this time of year. The heat really does a lot of damage to the way my stomach wants to react to stuff. So, and coffee, for some reason, even if it's cold, I don't like it in the summertime. I would rather drink iced tea all summer long. Now, Aunt T's iced tea is not Southern iced tea whatso frickin' ever. You don't put, and it's not British either. To each their own, but in my home, you don't put anything in your iced tea except for iced. I've changed a little bit. I don't put sugar or milk in it. The reason I said British because the Brits will put milk in their tea, which is fine. I enjoy in the fall some of the flavored like blueberry or I think they have a peach one. In the fall, I like those warm with a little bit of cinnamon and some cream. Tastes like I'm gonna say a bit of like a pie, bit like a pie. But to me, those aren't really even tea because they're just all sorts of herbal plants. But but you don't put anything in my iced tea. But recently, I've been experimenting with that too. I put frozen fruit in my iced tea. It adds a little flavor, not any sugar, and makes it cold, makes it stay cold. So, and then when it's thawed out, you got a snack. Yeah, I know. But to me, fruit, every once in a while, I will walk down the store and go get me a chocolate. And I make myself walk down to that store that I don't like spending money at to go get a chocolate. Because if I go there, if I go there, it's out of desperation, man. Because I don't like them. Anyway, so every once in a while, I will go down and I will get a chocolate bar and a little bit of junk food, probably about once a month. But again, I make it a chore to do it so that it just feels like you know, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to walk down there and get candy? No. No, I really don't. So, using you for a mirror here. But what I was going to say is when I get the biggest craving for sugar, I go grab a bunch of fruit. And now I add a little bit of sugar to it because to tell you the truth, any of the fruits that you get that you don't pick yourself, they get picked very unripe and they ripen on the truck on the way here and they sit in the store the right color, but there's no flavor in them. So I add a little sugar. I mean, there's no sweetness to them because they didn't get to ripen in the sun. They got to ripen in the back of a truck. So, again, where I have to get fruits, I have to get them in the store. So I add a little sugar to it. Just a little bit of sugar. Just a little bit. Or honey. One of my favorites. I like honey more in the fall than I do in the summer. And I think that it has to do with Kool-Aid. Because Kool-Aid for me is kind of a good memory too. I mean, that was a real treat. We went to friends' houses and got Kool-Aid. We didn't get that at our house. We spent the night at somebody else's house. And it wasn't the orange. It wasn't the purple. It was the tropical punch. And when I got to actually being able to choose to take that or buy them myself, my favorite flavor out of any of them, and they've exchanged it for sour apple, and I don't really like apple candy flavor. I like apples, but I don't like the candy flavor. I like coconut out of the shell, but I cannot stand candied or flaked or in something coconut. Just bleh. But green always used to be lime. And I love lime flavor. I really love lime flavor. So I got upset when they started doing that with the sour apple, because the sour apple is just, I don't like it. So lime Kool-Aid was my favorite. I've never been mainstream on anything, man. Never been mainstream on anything. What's your favorite girl color? Purple. Not pink? Nope. And I say that because it was different back when I was younger. I'm not going to go into the explanation. You can either ask your mom if you don't know, or whatever. What's your favorite, car? Oh, it has to be what was that? I can't remember what my favorite car was because it's been so long. It was a Mustang, Ford Mustang, and it had to be red. Had to be red. I didn't care about Fords, but I knew that a Mustang was a Ford. I've never been like... My dad always said when he went shopping, you don't eat the label, meaning what's inside the can tastes a lot better than what's on the outside of the can or the bag or the label. He's like, so I've never really been a brand person. And I guess maybe that is one of the reasons that I don't really care about, I never really cared about stuff before either, because I'm just not really a brand person. It just doesn't do anything for me. Shania Twain said that don't impress me much. Doesn't. I go for what fits me, what works for me. I don't care what the brand is. If it gets me from A to B and sometimes C, awesome. I don't care if it's new or used on a few things. I really like finding deals on gadgets at the resale shops. But I haven't mandolin. I called it a mandala the other day. It was a mandolin. I haven't found a mandolin that I haven't been afraid of yet, though, because I'd rather have a mandolin than chop onions, and I'd rather chop onions, or I'd rather have frozen onions than chop onions, and frozen onions are expensive. So I haven't found a mandolin that I'm not afraid of. I took a giant chunk. I mean, I still have like a little dip in the end of my finger. Anyway, I think I talked about that one time though. I think this was last year too that it happened. I don't remember when it happened, but I was washing it and just it was that sharp. I said, "Hey, guys, I've noticed something. I the only thing that I can think of that I started doing differently internally is I started taking biotin, um, collagen plus vitamin C, and a one a day vitamin. I have lost. I have. I don't know how long it was. Many, many, many years. Half of my hand was freaking numb, just all the time. I can feel my fingers. They're working. I mean, I can feel pain in them now. They don't feel like they're just waking up. I've been crocheting all day long, and my arthritis bump isn't there. Like I did all of that, and my arthritis bump isn't there. So one of the three, one or three or two of the things are working together. Are working. Something's happening. I have a lot of energy. Um, I I don't know what it is. The thing I can think of it is the biotin, because um they say that it can cause those things. Another thing that I saw was just a blurb on the news. What does Jennifer Aniston put in her coffee to stay slim? She adds collagen peptides. I've been doing that. And I do have more energy. My metabolism is awesome. So I don't know what I did that is different, but I mean I do. I just said I know what's different. Um something's working. Something's working. I almost have no pain either, which those pictures I show you about when I was really big back in my 20s, um every inch of my body was sore. It hurt all the time. I mean, I was carrying another human and a half on my frame, smoking cigarettes, doing dope, drinking, everything that I wasn't supposed to be doing or shouldn't have been doing. Um, but I was so all the time back then. Now I can ride my bike 2, 3 days in a row, and I'm like, go again. Like I can ride my bike like just about every day now. I think I might. I don't. I Yeah. I don't know. It's Easter. Maybe I shouldn't. Cops will be out. I'm tooling down the road. What are you doing? I'm celebrating Easter. I'm outside in this nice, beautiful spring day. Because we were driving. Dad came and got me for dinner the other day, and we were driving to his house, and I was looking at the bike trail, and they haven't got the big stumps off the bike trail yet, so I would have to drive down I would have to tootle down the side of the road. Dad says, he says, "Do you ride on the side of the road?" I said, "Yeah." I said, on the correct side of the road, and I says, "It's my absolute right to be there." And I said, as a matter of fact, it's my absolute right to be in the lane. I said, "But it's also my common sense to not want a semi truck behind my little bike." So, because the side of the road is honest, the past the white line is for pedestrians and bikes. For some people that don't know that. Duh. Just about everybody I know has a driver's license, and if they have a driver's license, they have that information. I'm the queen of obvious stuff, pointing out the obvious, I guess. Oh, guys. So, yeah, I hope you're having like a really good day. I mean, it's gloomy and cloudy here. The sun keeps coming out periodically, but it's gloomy and cloudy here. I go out and check the when it warms up a little bit, because right now it is it's 9:30 in the morning, and it was 36, 37 last time I looked. So it's like, I really don't want to go out in that right now. So I'm going to finish this panel that I'm working on and then go out and look, I guess, a couple hours. Probably drag along the oh, that's going to time out my tablet. Probably blah, blah, blah. Why can I not talk today? Probably drag along the handcart manual. Lawnmower. Why can I never remember that word? I have a problem remembering that word every time I try to say it. I don't know. Pinterest. I get these notifications when I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm like, wow, oh, I don't want to talk to them. Or usually I wait until Moody's asleep and then I do a video, because he likes to and I guess rightfully so, because he likes to keep company with me. But he likes to it's like, wow, rapid fire Moody, man. You're in a good mood. So I like to wait until he goes to bed and then do a video, because you'll just be hearing ding, 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 like it's Christmas time. A whole bunch of bells all the time. I'll have to put a picture of it in there. I took a picture of my cat yesterday. He had this look on his face. I shook my head and went, I know it looks funny. It's going to look funny because of this, but I went blah, 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 at my cat. And this look he gave me was like, I'll have to add a picture. I decided to have the frozen fruit for breakfast because it sounded good when I was talking about it. So here I am having frozen fruit. And yes, it's Easter, so I'm going to go against my rule about that on camera so much. I really have to get a bag of frozen mangoes. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the time of year that they're supposed to be ripe because all the rest of them, except for the cherries, all the rest of them are sour. The strawberries, the peaches, the pineapple, all sour. When I went in the freezer, I was gonna have pizza. I ended up buying I think it was a 6-pack, 4-pack, 4-pack of those Totino's party pizzas. Cut them in half, and then rewrapped them, and I got like 8 pizzas in there. So they're like that big, like school lunch pizzas. Do you guys remember those? They were always square and about this big. I think that's probably what they did. They got those Totino ones and cut them down. Oh. And I went and I actually had it in my hand, and I looked over and I saw the fruit, and I was like, you want that. Not that the sugar is any better than full-on pizza, but I wanted junk. And I ended up with a better solution. A lot of times I do that. Last night I wanted a piece of pizza. I took some of my bean soup and I air fried it until it was like almost crispy. I didn't use oil. I just let it dry out, almost like a bean cracker. And then I added the pizza toppings on that. Had that. It was good. It was filling, and I didn't need so much of it. And there's still some left over for dinner tonight. Bean pizza. I like to experiment with my food. Some people might think that sounds absolutely disgusting. Okay, it sounded like, I wonder what would happen if. It was good. I put in addition to the veggies that were already in the soup, and put on top the rest of the mushrooms. Because I've said this before, as soon as you open that blue pack, they start rotting. I don't know what happens, but I added a pepper and onion blend. Not just onion. There was already onions in it. That's why I said, oh, I want the peppers, because I could pick peppers out. And I can pick. Or Peter Piper picked a pick up. I can't do it now. I used to be able to. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked a Peter Piper. Nope. Can't do it. Where's my cat? He needs to be giving me ugly faces. What else did I put on there? Oh, pasta sauce, which is got flavored with meat. Because I was going to put some of that sausage on there, but I thought, nah. Because there was already meat in the pasta sauce. That's why I buy pasta sauce I do that because there's supposedly there's meat in there. I think it's soy. I think it's that good old TVP. But that's okay. I mean, protein, I guess. And then I put mozzarella on top of that, and I just put it back in the oven and baked it. Oh, and everything bagel. Mrs. Dash, no salt. Man, when I was a kid, I'd have to go out really early in the morning to do it and beat the birds to them. Mom would grow strawberries. We called it the berry patch, but she had strawberries and raspberries and blackberries and some trees that absolutely never grew anything, and that probably didn't even grow. I think the one was a peach tree or something. Maybe it was a cherry. I don't remember, but there was... Never happened. But going out to the berry patch and picking fresh strawberries and eating them. But we had to go out there really early and beat the birds to them, because if you didn't, every single one of them strawberries would have a bite right on out of them. They planted it because our neighbor had a mulberry tree, and they were hoping that they'd go for the mulberries instead of the strawberries or whatever. No. I have no problem with blackberries. I like the flavor. Have... I was a kid and I was eating raspberries and Mom was washing them off. I popped one in my mouth. Now these are the red ones. Popped one in my mouth and spit it right on out because it bit me back. I had one of them little green bugs in there. So I have bad memories about eating red raspberries, so they're not like my favorite. But if somebody served it to me, I'd be okay. But I was just over there by the window, and the cats were like that, and I'm like, what? I just saw a bunny run across my lawn. I don't think it was a bunny, it was a rabbit. It was a brown one, like the Velveteen Rabbit. Do you guys remember the story of the Velveteen Rabbit? I mean, if you're, I guess, my age or so, or American. That story was one of my favorite stories when I was growing up. It always made me sad. I can't remember. One of my favorite stories, and I don't like to admit it because it was one of my siblings' favorite stories, was Alexander in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That was one of my favorite stories. When I was little, there was the little critter books. Then there were these books, and I can find them, but I can't. They're called The Sweet Pickles. And Goose Goofs Off, Dog Doubts something, Elephant Quail. There was Exorus or something, Zebra, Walrus, one for every every letter in the alphabet, but they were like books were lessons to children about, this and that. They were also, what was it, Free to Be Me and You, or You and Me, and or I can't remember those books. I'll have to look them up. I looked them up. It was the Ready, Set, Grow series. My mom, I asked her to read every single one of those to me all the time. And she's like, these are very long books. Do you really want? Yes, Mom, I want to read. I want them. I want them. I want them. I added 2 more. Georgie the Ghost, where he made the floorboard squeak and the door squeak, and the Whitakers, they knew when to go to bed or when to wake up when that happened. But he went on an adventure, and he left because the old man, he fixed the door and he fixed the stairs so it didn't creak or squeak anymore. So he left to go find a new house. And their routine got messed up, so he let the stuff go back to creaking and squeaking, and then Georgie moved back in. And then, when I was little, see, I've said I'm named after both of my grandmas. My name is Teresa, and our nickname was Terry. I went to school with a dude named Terry, and I went back to my original Teresa because I didn't want my homework mixed up with his. Anyway, Terry's treasure hunt for the kid's birthday. You can't tell whether it's a boy or a girl, so I'm just gonna say the kid's birthday. They had a treasure hunt, and they would find a note with it, and at the end there was a birthday party, and I loved it. I thought that book was about me, and I never understood why they never set up a treasure hunt until I became a parent, and then I realized this is a pain in the butt. My grandnephew has that book now. I don't have, and I will not have, grandchildren. My daughter's decided, no thank you, not for me. Okay, that's fine. So my grandnephew now has that book. I just wanted to, I guess, hop on and say Happy Easter, and I guess I'm going down a little bit of a nostalgia trail from when I was little. Happy Easter, happy Sunday, happy day, just happy. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.